Wow. I thought that was money, and that thing took off.
The Sublime Focus is a strong symmetric ball coming to complement the Sublime, and it releases on September 20th. Tobias is our tester for this one as we figure out whether it's in Optimum Idle territory or Summit Ascent territory. To start with the details, the center is Royal Crest Lanes in Lawrence, Kansas, and the lane condition is the Kegel Chromium Challenge pattern that comes in at 42 feet, 25.5 mils. The graph is linked in the description. The Sublime uses the same core from the original, the very interesting immersed AI core that kind of looks like an hourglass. 247RG 056 differential, so definitely in both Optimum and Summit territory with the numbers. The difference here is that with most normal pinup layouts for thumb in bowlers, the thumb will either completely miss or mostly miss the core, so the ball will stay closer to the undrilled numbers. Typically, pinup layouts make the core stronger because you're removing mass from the side of the core, which drives the RG down and differential up. Also, because of the core design, without spending paragraphs explaining why, the information can be found on the website and in company videos. Despite being a symmetric core, it does have a little extra torque beyond regular symmetric balls, which made the Sublime surprisingly firm and responsive down lane and somewhat reminiscent of an ASIM. Moving on to the cover, I remarked in the preview video that there's nothing but bland marketing nonsense on the website regarding Reserve Blend 804, which comes to 2000 grit on the Focus, which is where it's at for the video. However, upon seeing the ball roll, I said in my Discord server, link in the description if you'd like to join, $5 on Patreon will get you in the member side, I said I'd eat a pickle if RB804 wasn't NRG/Microtracks. Now, I hate pickles more than Sean Rash hates plastic water bottles, more than Randy Peterson hates ham bone, more than Joey Pants hates two-handers, and more than Biff hates manure. Not revealing my source, I had it confirmed that it is in fact a high-load nano cover, and anyone that's ever thrown an NRG or Microtracks ball can tell and feel that signature reaction anyway. It's very distinct. So basically what we have is a 900 Global Optimum Idle, and definitely a step or two up from the Summit Ascent. As I'm sure you could already tell, this one's a little weird. It seemed to be pretty sensitive to his release. If he fluffed it, it'd pick up hard and almost overreact, and if he tried to roll it at all, it's somewhat locked up off his hand. It took him quite a bit longer than usual to figure out what it wanted to do and where it wanted to do it from, and the conclusions, which I've heard were also mentioned by Stu Williams, were that the out-of-box surface is a little too much for this ball for starters. Very strong early cover paired with a core that seems to want to be flippy or more dynamic, and they seem to be fighting against each other. Some lane shine or polish puts them more in the same territory, or at least keeps them from pulling so hard in their own directions. Short interruption to remind you to check the description. Lots of good and helpful things down there, including a link to Bowler's Mart to get one of these ordered, links to instructional videos, plus I have a new shirt and hoodie design up on CoolWick. Suck it up, Buttercup. I know you all have some friends that could use one of those. And code ROSEDOLL10 will get you 10% off your order at checkout. Links to the shirt and hoodie are also down in the description. Towards the end, Tobias did get a little lane shine on it. Now, it doesn't seem to shine terribly quickly, and really found a home keeping it closer to the pocket because it just didn't like angle. He could get it to the pocket and through the pins extremely well as long as he didn't give the pocket away too much. And giving the pocket away basically means playing a breakpoint too far to the outside. This pattern really favors a breakpoint of 5 to 7 for the vast majority of balls on the right side of the lane, and this ball wanted to be more between 8 and 10. If he kept the breakpoint closer to the pocket, he could play wherever he wanted to, eventually moving back right and finding some better ball motion. This is a 2 ball. It's symmetric but very strong. Could definitely be a 1 ball if you don't carry ASIMs. It's about as strong as you're going to get a symmetric ball. It does roll like a Sublime, just obviously a significant amount earlier and stronger. Tobias thought two-handers would love it. My eyes tend to agree, and most people don't need a 2000 grit out-of-box surface anyway, so the ball seeming to prefer lane shine or even polish is a good thing. It's not like a Tour Dynamics or something that needed to be at 1000 or 2000 to be useful or usable. This will put it in many more bowlers' wheelhouses. If you like the Sublime and want a stronger, smoother version, this is it. We're going to compare it to the Optimum because that makes the most sense. Nearly identical balls on paper, they come at the same surface, but the Optimum is quite a bit rounder shape, and it has no issue with angle. It almost needs or wants to be thrown away from the pocket a little. You can see the striking similarity, pun intended, especially since strikes were hard to come by with the focus early, a nearly identical length and friction responses, but the reaction shapes create a fairly massive difference in my eyes in where the ball is best from, where it wants to be at, and what kind of games and situations it's going to fit best. The focus is a little more dynamic, I guess more of a defined reaction on the back end, like straighter paths to the pocket. The Optimum is rounder, a little slower on the back end, and seems to want a few boards to play with. The Sublime Focus seems to be in Hazmat Solid territory, while the Optimum is more in GB5 territory, and those different shapes do create fairly different use cases that can be in play at the same time, but one could also look great while the other looks terrible in other cases. If the back ends are firmer or sharper, the Focus might stand up while the Optimum blends it just fine. If the back ends are slower, the Optimum might be flat while the Focus is a little crisper. If the track area on a certain pattern or in a certain center is closer to the gutter, the Optimum would be the ball. If it's a little further inside, the Focus would be the better pick. Once again, the Sublime Focus releases on September 20th with the Ion Max. I'll also have a video featuring Tobias up for that one. Plus, I drilled my first SPI ball of the year recently. Put your guesses down below on what you think I just had to have. Remember to check out the description for all the goodies and stick around for the outtakes and on-lane comments Tobias had. It's fun, but it's not just fluff. This video was brought to you by Panda Bear Productions. We put the in bowling. Thanks for watching, and may the strikes be with you.
Yikes. Wow. I thought that might be good. That was good with the Max. That's what was happening last night. Give him an old 5-pin. Well, it's like 5.5 right now. Some of that two-hander carry. Well, that looked all right. Looks okay from there. Not enough recovery to swing it out like that.